Dodge Correctional. I found this. His name is Duty Ron. This is Chris Watts, his life behind bars inside Dodge Correctional. He interviews this captain, and they talk a little bit about what his life is probably like. And we never watch everything. We only watch things partial. I will put the link to everything in the description for fair play use. We stop and start. I urge you to go to this creator's channel. Everything that we watch will be down in the description. I urge you to go and do your own research, and everything is my opinion for entertainment and educational purposes only.
And corrections veteran. He's currently an active police officer in his home community and around town in 2 separate departments. Keith is retired from the corrections department. He was corrections captain, and he served at the Dodge Correctional Facility in Wisconsin, where Chris Watts is housed.
Okay, I take that back. He literally served there, so he knows what's going on in Chris Watts's life. Yeah, you guys are probably going to want to watch this whole video. Obviously, we can't do it, and I for sure will put the link down there because I can see everybody wanting to go watch this.
Keith, your mic is muted. I want to welcome you to the live stream. Thank you so much, Captain, for coming on and spending time with us to talk about Chris Watts.
Well, thank you for inviting me. In talking about Chris Watts or any high-profile inmate, they're all treated pretty much the same when they come into the system. Now, you'll notice in the sentencing, he was sentenced to the Colorado Department of Corrections. However, he's serving his time in the Wisconsin Department of Corrections under an interstate compact. This happens quite frequently when there's a high-profile inmate whose life is in danger if they stay in their home facility. Chris Watts is housed.
We know that it was reported that Chris was in danger, and they were serving him things like air trays, which is just nothing in a tray. Chris was hungry, and he was being threatened, and so they moved him from Colorado. I don't think he would still be alive if he was still in Colorado, and I know that Chris lives in fear of being sent back to Colorado. So
in the same unit as a man named Chris Coleman, who also murdered his family. There was national prominence because he was the bodyguard for televangelist, and he thought he'd get fired because he was having an affair, so he wiped out his entire family.
Wow.
So Chris Watts and Chris Coleman are in the same unit. Now, I doubt if they're cellmates. I don't know. I don't have that intelligence for me.
Quickly, before we get into this, I want
to look really quickly and see when this was. This was 2 years ago. Okay. So this is 2 years old.
To just explain to the audience some of your correctional experience there at the Dodge Correctional Facility, how much time you spent there. You don't have to give the years, but and the ranks that you held. So this way, the folks who are just joining, Keith is a retired captain, corrections captain from the Wisconsin Department of Corrections. But just let them know what you did when you started out and the jobs that you had within the Dodge Correctional Facility.
Sure. Well, I started out when God was a kid. I started in 1977 working in a medium security institution, and I started out as an officer, and I worked my way up to sergeant at another institution. Then I promoted to lieutenant. Then I promoted to captain. I was a captain for about 10 years at a medium security institution, and I was burned out, so I quit. And I went to the sheriff's department, and I rose up to the rank of lieutenant at the sheriff's department, retired from there. And I was bored, so I went back to corrections. I was hired at the Dodge Correctional Institution as a captain based on my previous experience. In corrections, I was in charge of a hostage extraction team. At one point, I was a sniper team leader. I was a crisis negotiator, a firearms chemical agents instructor, just a lot of different hats, but my career spanned 36 years.
Customers here to the Crime Time with Duty Ron. Anthony Ganji is the host of Tier Talk, and he is also an administrative side of corrections, a corrections expert. Anthony, thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you back.
Thanks for having us again, and thank you guys for.
Yeah, that was from Keith. It's always great to have you back. The audience from the last show loved your input, and we're going to get into speaking about the handling, and I'm going to leave it up to you and Keith to do some of the heavy lifting on Chris Watts. But my next guest is a shining star. Connie,
I'm going to keep it moving forward so that we can get to the Watts part, because it looks like he's got 3 guests on this show.
Chris Watts was transferred and arrived at the Dodge Correctional Facility a short time after he was sentenced to these life terms. Keith, I want to touch with you on this. He was sentenced, and then just 2 months later, a little bit over 2 months, on December 5th, he was sent out to, actually December 3rd. I know all of my statisticians will come at me with this. December 3rd, 2018, he was transferred out of Colorado and sent over to the Dodge Correctional Facility. What was the reason behind that, Keith? Why, and how does that get set up?
Well, Wisconsin has an interstate compact with several states, Colorado being one of them, that if they have a high-profile inmate who's in danger, they can send them to Wisconsin. And Dodge is the main receiving institution in the state of Wisconsin. So under that interstate compact, that's why they received Chris Watts. Now, his arrival there, I'm sure, was pretty low key. You know, you don't want people to know that he's traveling cross country. You don't want people to know when he's going to be coming in. So it's all kept on the down low when they do a transfer like this. Was one of the reasons he was transported there or transferred there because the inmate population, because of the intense media and the intensity of his criminal acts, i.e. wiping out his whole family?
Does anyone know how he was transported? Was he flew to Wisconsin, or did they drive him? I don't even, I remember seeing footage of when, say, Lori Vallow arrived in Arizona, but I don't remember footage of seeing Chris arriving in Wisconsin.
Emily, was that in the decision making of why he was transferred from Colorado to Wisconsin? Because of death threats from inmates? And it was also reported that the actual COs that work at that facility, not that they were going to kill him, but they didn't like him at all. Can you speak on that? What happened when these folks come in that commit these heinous crimes?
I guess, it's understandable that they would move them out of their community because they are so notorious. I mean, everybody there knew all the facts of Chris Watts in Colorado. Shipping off to Wisconsin, which is 1,000 miles away, people may know a little bit about it, but they don't know the heinous acts that he actually committed. They know he's a murderer. They know he killed his family, but they really don't know the ins and outs of it as they do in Colorado.
I'm sure they probably do. I think they probably do. I don't know, but he worked there, so he's saying, I don't know. It's hard to argue with someone who's worked there.
So when he comes here, he's a little more anonymous.
Right, but I mean, I can't help but to mention this. Prisoners are able to watch TV, and some of the guys who are not, let's say he's there since 2018. So if someone is now a new admission in 2021, they know all about Chris Watts, because you can't even turn on the TV and not see a Netflix series, a Dr. Phil, Nancy Gray. Everybody's talking about this guy. So talk about the Dodge Correctional Facility and what they provide that, they're a maximum security facility, but they're there to take in these high-profile prisoners, correct?
That is correct. Now, the vast majority, I would say 99.9% of the high-profile inmates are housed in the same unit.
Right.
Now, they call them general population inmates. These are inmates that are going to be there for a long time. These are inmates that aren't looking at parole tomorrow. They aren't looking at an easy way out of prison. Majority of them there are lifers, unless they're a lawyer, a judge, or someone else who's committed a crime, and they're there for their own safety. The majority of them are in there for very violent crimes. They all know what he did, and he probably knows what they did as well. So it's kind of a quid pro quo. You don't bug me, I don't bug you, that kind of thing.
Right.
As far as the staff interaction with them, most people don't realize that the person that an inmate has the most contact with on a daily basis is the correctional officer. Now, I know one of the questions I've heard asked is, what does staff think when somebody like that comes in? Well, a lot of times, staff doesn't want to know why an inmate's in. They don't have to deal with the inmate, the criminal. They have to deal with the inmate, the person. And that's who they have to deal with on a daily basis. Now, as a captain, of course, I had all the inside scoop on the dirty on every inmate in there if I wanted to look it up. And there were times I did because of security risks, things of that nature. But a lot of officers don't want to know why they're there. Now, the officers that work at unit know that the people that are there for some type of heinous crime, but they're very professional in the way they treat those people. They treat them no differently than they treat any other inmate.
I mean, come on. I feel like there's okay, the part of the prison reform will definitely have to be the workers there. And so I think he's trying to, I don't know if I agree with that either.
I'm going to show the media about Chris.
I'm not even sure he agreed with it because he's like, okay.
And this is recent, and it's going to tell a little bit about current, what's going on with him. So if you guys can grin and bear with me, Keith, if you could just mute your mic for a second, I'm going to play this quickly.
Okay. Oops.
We will weigh out how much that.
Fast forward through that part because that's a part you can watch on your own.
Take on that last clip that I just played. Are these the most hated inmates? Do the officers cooperates with us and works?
Regularly speaks with Chris Watts, the Colorado man who is serving a life sentence for killing his pregnant wife and 2 young daughters, tells people that he is currently. A source who regularly speaks with Chris Watts, the Colorado man who is serving a life sentence for killing his pregnant wife and 2 young daughters, tells people that he is currently ostracized while behind bars. The source says that no one wants anything to do with Watts and that he's on the lowest social tier of the entire prison. The source adds that Watts, who turned 36 years old on Sunday, is an outcast even among prisoners. He has to be kept in protective custody.
Take on that last clip that I just played. Are these the most hated inmates? Do the officers despise these guys?
How do you guys feel about Chris Watts? Do you think he's the most hated criminal in our prison systems in the United States? We'll just put it in the United States of America's prison system. Do you think he's the most hated? Can you think of a man? Will a man more hated? Because I could probably think of a woman more hated. But could you think of a man more hated than Chris?
Guys, I know you guys have a job to do. Are the inmates, do they despise and go after child killers? We need to address that.
You know, to be honest with you, I mean, even though this case got the attention of the media, there's probably worse cases in there. It just happens to be that this case got the attention. Also, on a side note, this is what a concern could be. The guys inside the prison, the media is still continuing to put a story out there. So now we're struggling trying to protect the inmate, you know, as they reveal these details. And the other thing is this guy has direct access to the media because there's an interest in his case. So now our job is to protect him. So for people that, we'll start with custody first. Custody is going to be professional with their dealings with him, 100%. They know what their role is now. Now they go from, this inmate has to be protected, both from himself and from the other.
They probably are 100% with Chris because of his high profile, because if word got out that they were like bucking the system and not doing what was expected, it would be very easy for them to get in trouble, I would think.
Inmates who may look to claim on to that fame, but you know, it becomes tough because we have to manage the inmate amongst this chaos of media that makes it harder because again, they release something else out there and then the inmate could become the most hated. And the funny thing is even just now by them saying is he the most hated inmate, how reliable is the source?
Right. And that's, thank you for bringing that up. Again, these sources it could range from anybody from someone within the facility that works there, civilian or correctional officer, or it could be someone who was released. Or it could be someone that spent time or visited somebody and said, oh, this, and this. So the media, their job is to vet their sources, but we all know that they got a story to put out there. At the end of the day, nobody likes to hear that the corrections are protecting this guy, that the correction officer are protecting this guy. But that is part of the system. It's part of the job. It's part of our Constitution.
I agree. At the end of the day, nobody wants to hear that Chris is getting his meals and he's warm and he's, you know, kept clean and whatnot. Nobody wants to hear that, but everybody, like, that's a basic human right.
You're afforded an attorney, you're innocent until proven guilty, but once you're proven guilty and you're convicted and the judge says take charge, guess who's taking charge? The corrections department. And they're responsible for every bit of that person's well-being.
Like you could see in that video you showed with him.
And I think Chris has a certain amount of like where he's happy with that. He doesn't have to think about anything. He doesn't have to worry about bills. He doesn't have to worry about children, wives. You know, he can just do whatever he wants now and write his girlfriends and lie to his parents and, you know, just live a life. I mean, about the only thing I guess he has to worry about is like being attacked. But I guess that's a pretty huge worry to worry about that every single day. But after a while, I think that he would probably stop worrying about that every single day. And that's probably when it would happen.
Him going through the court, you could see
I want it to happen, mind you.
Anxiety. So, you know, right off the bat, he's definitely going to have to get put on some constant watch, because you have a guy that lived life up top. Now
Right.
reality kicks in. You've been sentenced. Now everything drops. You know, and we have to be able to manage him through those impulses of, I want to take my life one day. You don't know.
Right. And it's the job of the correctional officers on that particular pod or tier where he's being held to make sure he doesn't do that. Let me say quickly hello to some of the folks in the chat. Hello, Joe Murray. That is my good friend and criminal defense attorney. Jennifer Nobles from Bakersfield, California. She's when a high-profile inmate that just got sentenced to 5 life sentences knows he's never going to get out. What type of special handling with the intake on a high-profile guy like this? Is there anything special, or is it the same?
So understandably, there are certain, concerns that are raised because of his profile, but the standard of care remains the same. Whether it's a medical assessment or a mental health assessment, we do a thorough assessment on anyone who comes through those doors to ensure that they're medically safe and
Yeah, so I don't really feel as if people are being taken care of medically or mental health wise in the prison. So I feel like this is just a lot of like, I feel like I've gone to when I used to have to go to the social work seminars and learn a new training, I feel like that's what's happening here.
How many of the inmates, these are all high profile guys, how many of them come in and have psych problems or claim the psych problem or get that suicide vest put on them?
Well, generally, when a high-profile inmate comes in, they're placed in observation status, which is a glass-front secured cell. They're under observation 24 hours a day. Staff have to check on them every 15 minutes. They're given a psychological evaluation upon entry into the institution at Dodge Correctional Institution. They do have a complete psychiatric.
We didn't really hear too much about Chris having a psychiatric evaluation. I would love to read his psychiatric evaluation.
Connie and Anthony are chomping at the bit. Let me ask you guys quickly. I mean, you've been in these different facilities. I'll start with you, Connie. When prisoners or inmates, wherever you are, where you were in Connecticut, you're in New York, when they have these visitors, is there a process or a situation where they have to come through medical first? Because people were talking about that, and I said, no, that is in the beginning when they're there. But what about while prisoners are there? They get a toothache. They get some kind of communicable disease or whatever. How does that process work?
So we do have a sick call. So like if an inmate is sick or they're not feeling well or whatever their need is, they have a toothache, they can write and say they want to be seen, whether it's for sick call or just they want to see the doctor. But there's a process for that as well. There is sort of a triage nurse who would assess whatever that inmate's needs are, because we can't assume that they're faking. I think a lot of people.
Chris Watts said he doesn't want one. Interesting. I didn't know that you could refuse a psych evaluation, I guess, when you were under the Department of Corrections. I thought you just had to do what they said. Interesting.
People don't realize that healthcare is provided based on their 8th Amendment right. It's not just a
see, there it is. People, I didn't. Yeah, but it makes sense now.
Feel good mission that we just want to make sure we're taking great care, but it is their 8th Amendment right to, if they're in our custody, to be free from cruel and unusual punishment. And so with that said, if someone has a toothache and we don't address the toothache, or someone has some chronic pain, whether it's back pain, neck pain, whatever that pain is.
In the chat, Lieutenant Pete Pranzo, he just came in with a $10 super chat. Our good friend, a retired police officer and now criminal defense attorney, Joe Murray, put in a $10 super. Does that happen? I know you talk about that on your show.
Yeah, so I'm gonna hope to say no, because if there's a chance that there's a relationship prior to, first off, that's one of the reasons probably why he was shipped out of state, to eliminate maybe any possible connections. The initial concerns when they go to a jail, obviously there's a chance they could have close contacts, but for the officers that are professional, if they have any relationship with that inmate that they feel is a conflict, or they're told to submit a report, probably send it to administration and probably the investigative division, and then they should do what they do to accommodate that. So if I have an officer that says, hey, I know this inmate, I feel this is going to be a conflict, then you limit that contact with that officer. But the other concern is, due to manipulation, we're always worried that friendships develop through interaction.
It would be safe to say here that answer is maybe.
I hate maybe, but I get your point.
Okay, thank you for that, Black Rose. And I'm going to ask one more from Black Rose, and if I ask another one, then she's going to have to pay for it. She says, and Keith or Anthony, you can chime in, and Connie, if you think you know the answer, you can chime in. Black Rose 11 says, will Chris Watts stay at Dodge Correctional for the rest of his natural born life?
You want to
You know, there's a very good possibility that he does so. Dodge Correctional Institution has many inmates that have been there for 30 and 40 years now. Incarceration.
Okay, so for those of you who didn't hear that, Keith just said they have inmates, because your audio is still a little low in my ear, and some people are saying in the chat. He said that there's inmates there for
He is
30
very
and
low.
40 years at that.
Right. But the only concern I have with that is they have a compact agreement with another state. If by chance that compact agreement gets terminated, then the state may have to send the inmate back over to Colorado.
Okay, yeah.
Chris could be sent back to Colorado.
At Dodge, we also have an infirmary there, and at that infirmary, we get a lot of inmates that are finishing up their life sentence.
What's an infirmary, Keith?
Yeah. Okay, guys, we're going to move on. If you guys want to watch that, I will put the link down there. This is Lamont at Large, and his channel. He travels around and talks about true crime, and he went to where Chris lives, and we'll just watch a little bit of this.
A lucky enough German guy, and let's say you were really smart, you were a scientist, and you knew about rocket engines, propulsion systems, especially atomic bombs, because we were really looking for those guys. Not only would you not have to work on a farm, but we would make you a U.S. citizen, and then you would help us create weapons of mass destruction, I guess is what you would call it. This prison right here, this is the Waupun Correctional Institute. This prison was built and completed in 1851. It is still in use today. The reason why this spot...
Isn't that amazing? It's 1851 and it's still standing today.
Was picked for this prison is the abundance of limestone in the area. And as you can see, this prison is all made out of limestone. And this prison also has a very infamous inmate, one Stephen Avery, of course. Everybody has seen the Netflix.
So Stephen Avery is at the same prison, but that's the prison down the road. This is the one Chris is in.
This place actually used to be called the Central State Hospital for the Criminally Insane. And this place used to have another infamous tenant, one Ed Gein. He used to live here. So a odd story that I read about.
It also had Dahmer. I was told Dahmer was there as well.
Oh, you know, hey, listen, two guys in a prison with other guys. Hey, things happen. Things happen. No worries, right?
I'm sure he's talking about the infamous Vaseline and panty raid that happened to Chris Watts. Okay, so this is where Chris is residing. Let me go over to chat and see what you guys are saying. Just put Junie to bed while we were watching part of that, so he should be quiet now. I heard he wouldn't take one too. Oh yeah. So my question was that did he have a psych exam, and he denied it is what's being said. Sherry, can you please reword? Okay. Chris Watts, why did you unalive your beautiful wife and beautiful babies for that skanko? It had my dad back in the day too. Oh, did it, Hoot Boot? I would love to actually get a decent panel of my own going about Dodge Correctional and kind of do like more of a deep dive. And thank you, Heavenly. I really appreciate you. And thank you for rewording that. I appreciate you, Sherry K. Chris Watts, I already read that. So yeah, YouTube is really weird about certain words and you can't say them. And it was funny. I was telling my Uber driver today, and I was like talking like I was doing a live and I was saying unaliving and stuff. And she's like, what? I was like, oh my gosh, I'm using YouTube words. Yeah, we just have to go around it and it's all good. Okay, so let us go and finally listen to this interview that he did. It's 4 hours and 41 minutes long.
I do speed it up. I do put it at 1.2 speed. But
we're not going to make it through the whole thing. So let me get my stage together. And we will get going. So I'm going to mute my mic. I'll go into chat and be down in chat with you guys and be listening to it with you.
Touch with each other, we keep talking to each other. And we've all separately kind of said, did Chris seem unique to you?
He's gone. He's working. Hey, Chris.
Chris?
Do you remember us?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I see. I just stood there a moment there. Good to see.
Different.
They won't get haircut every 2 months, but just buzz pretty much everything off and all that. So
Trying to think, did you have a
yes,
tea last time? Okay.
they have like a little single blade razor, so I just kind of like go past the stuff and just kind of
Just do the best you can, huh?
just gotta go with that.
Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm okay. How about you guys? Good. Good. I did not expect to see this. That's for sure.
Surprise. Yeah. Well, let me put some fears aside. We're not here for what you might think we might be here for.
But they didn't know what this is a computer room. I was like, I didn't know how to computer room.
Without computers.
Exactly.
So you remember, I talked to you, Tammy talked to you, Dave talked to you. We're all Colorado. And so the last time we talked to you was a different situation, right? Our investigation was open and your case was open. That's completely different now. So your case is completely closed. Nothing about what we're going to talk about today has anything to do with an open investigation. So we're not here to get more charges on you or get any statements from you that are going to jam you up anymore. Right? That's all done. So all of our cases are closed and the court case is closed. So there's nothing that we're going to talk about today that's going to get you any type of more trouble at all. And so that's, I wanted to make sure you knew that's not why we're here.
Okay.
But why we are here. So, so the three of us work from three different agencies, right? Quite a bit different. CBI, FBI, Frederick, different goals. And the things that happened with you have all brought us together. And as the months have passed on, since everything happened, we just keep in touch with each other. We keep talking to each other. And we've all separately kind of said, did Chris seem unique to you? And me and Tammy talked about this. Dave and I have talked about this. Did Chris's situation seem different to you? And we keep having that conversation. We can't quite put our finger on it, right? We think that your life leading up to all the things that happened were very to us. And for me personally, I don't know if you remember, but one of the last things you told me was, "Hey, Graham, I'm sorry that I started lying to you." And that stuck with me for the last couple months. It's been ringing in my head, right? I've never ever worked a case like this where someone told me that ever. And so as I walked away, I thought, Chris is different. Chris is a little bit unique in that regard. So in talking with Tammy and talking with Dave, I said, you know, what did you feel like when it all went down? When we were there, we were talking to you guys, and we all kind of, in our own different way and in our own wording, said it all happened a bit too quick for us, right? So we saw you last. You were talking and talking and talking about your family, about your parents, about everyone. And then the next thing you know, me and Tammy and for Dave, all of a sudden some patrol officers came in and arrested. And that was far quicker than we had hoped it would happen. And you understand why that happened, and we understand why that happened. But it left us with 1,000 questions that we didn't get to ask. And then even more importantly, I think it probably left you with 1,000 things that you didn't get to talk about with us. I don't know if you feel that way or not, but and so that's why we're here today. We wanted to kind of talk to you a little bit more about everything. You know, I think there's a lot of things that you didn't get to talk about, and so you know that's why we're here. And it sticks with me that to this day, there's not one person that's told me I saw it coming. I knew Chris was like that. I knew it. Not one person. So it's just it's interesting to me, right? Not one. So we want to talk a little bit about that. Some of the people that we work with, your family, Shanann's family, have said, you know, if you get to talk to Chris, would you tell him some things for me? So we have that to talk about today, and it's good. I think you'll like it. I think it will give you some closure. And so really, that's why we're here. Are you available to talk to us?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. So off the bat, if you have any questions, just tell us.
Okay.
If there's something that you don't want to talk about, that's okay. We might press you a little bit. Okay, we might say, well, do you mind if we just maybe then ask one question? Something makes you uncomfortable, just tell us. If we need to take any bathroom breaks, we take bathroom breaks. You know, for anything like that. And we'll take bathroom breaks and water breaks ourselves too. So then, is there anything about your schedule today that makes it that you can't talk to us?
No, that there's like a pass for this in the AM and the PM.
Okay.
It's yeah, they reserve the room the whole day.
Oh,
Just
okay.
in case.
That's just what they do.
Okay, I didn't
Yeah.
know if that was like two separate things or something. Like,
I think you have to go back for lunch to get counted for or something.
Oh.
Accounted for.
yeah, I think
11:30.
Yeah, lunch is like 11, but they count like 1:15. So
So in general, how is it here?
it's a lot different in Colorado.
Is it?
Good or bad?
It's better, I think, because I mean, it's here. I'm actually around other people. I mean, in Colorado, it was just like I was segregated, and it was just, like counting on walls all night, screaming, and it was hard me.
From other people?
Oh,
Really?
They're just telling me like how I should kill myself, and like what they're gonna do to me, and just like all that kind of stuff. So
Okay.
it was today. This is a lot different because I mean, people here don't seem to. It's not like they don't care, but it's just kind of like they don't like judge you as soon as you walk in. Colorado was like they knew why I was there, and that was it. They're just like they had 1 second along with me, it would have been
Really?
they were, yeah.
Gee, man. Must be out then.
Out of like what kind of jail? I don't know what it was like in DOC there, but like they had to lock down the jail for me to walk down the hallway.
Wow. Okay, well. So they had to make sure you were completely separate from anyone else.
Mhm.
Jeez.
Wow.
Like I didn't see anybody else there. Like I was next to somebody, but like I never saw them.
You just hear them.
How did they know who you were?
I don't know. I just they make phone calls in there too,
Oh, okay.
and they got the newspaper in there before I got in there. So
Yeah. How was have you been able to talk with family?
oh yeah, definitely. Like we get from 6 p.m. to 7:30. That's our my unit's not out, so we get used to phone at that point in time.
Really? And do they charge you for it, or
Oh, it's just like it's like secures or something.
Mhm.
okay? And how do you make money to pay for that?
They put money on the phone.
Oh,
So if I call, if I was like to dial somebody's number, they have to have like a phone account set up.
I
it's
gotcha.
like restricted.
And then so the who you call pays for it.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Have you been able to talk like family members and parents and all
Yeah,
that?
my mom and dad, my sister.
Good. Is that a good thing?
That's a good thing. Yeah, yeah they don't hear from me. They're like, what's wrong?
Oh, good. And how was it with them?
And so far, so good.
It was hard to hear your parents at sentencing.
Yeah.
I didn't know if what they were gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I really appreciated what they said. I don't know about you.
I definitely was. I didn't expect them to be there. I knew they were there on the 6th. I'm sick, but I didn't expect them to fly back, and they wanted to fly back for that. So.
Yeah. And then what your mom said.
Mhm.
That's me. Good. Well, so we have 1,000 questions. I'm sure you do too. Do you care if we start, or do you have any questions for us?
Go ahead. We'll start.
All right. So one of the things that we're battling with is, and I won't make any assumptions today. So are you aware that this was a national story?
After a little while, it was. I didn't talk to my parents while I was in Colorado.
Okay.
Because my attorney team told me, all right, no phone calls, no letters, no nothing.
Okay.
So I made one phone call when I was in the segregation area there, but my dad didn't thought it was like somebody like a news.
Oh,
My attorney called.
so he didn't answer.
Yeah, so he didn't answer. But other than that, okay, I didn't talk to anybody. But from what some of the deputies were saying, that or my attorney team coming in and said, this is like they've got people from Australia, England, all kinds of people trying to figure out what's going on. So
Did they send you any? Did you get any of the letters, like fan mail or anything? Well,
I got letters, but I couldn't keep them like with me, so like I could read them like a mile out. But it's like I got a bunch of letters that had no return address, stuff that was just not very good letters. Yeah, so
okay. They came from a weird perspective, didn't they? From what we had heard.
Definitely, there was one person, I guess, from Broomfield that was like writing like 4 times a week trying to come visit me, and then there was just a lot of people like writing that was like week through markers saying, like you're a monster, or all kinds of weird stuff.
Well, we're going to talk about some hard issues today, but I don't intend to take you to a dark place today.
Okay.
I hope that when we're done, you'll feel better. I hope it'll be therapeutic. We're going to talk about, obviously, what happened with your family. So that's going to be hard to talk about. I appreciate anything you can tell me about it. If you need to take time out, if you need to get a tissue, that's fine, right? I think it'll be very good for you. It'll be good for us. And so one of the reasons that's about that national attention is we were aware that you were getting a lot of letters, a lot of interest. And then us personally as law enforcement, we got so many people who claim to have known you, claim to have been with you, dated you, slept with you, and 99 times out of 100, they were just crazy people, right? And so maybe that's a good place to start. Had you heard about any of that?
John Walsh told me about some dude from Wyoming.
Yeah,
Trent?
Yeah, that guy, that blew my mind. I was like, who the hell is this guy?
And who told you about him?
Attorney John Walsh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you mind if we talk about him?
Yes.
Graham and I interviewed him.
You had to?
Yes.
Based on our lives.
Yes.
So Trent, in summary, Trent came in and said, met you online on a dating app, had a few, casual but quick sexual encounters with you. And let me be very clear. Not only are we not here to jam you up today, we're also not here to judge you. And if there is anything like that, you can imagine we've heard way worse, way different, So if it's true, I hope that you can just casually say, yeah, I mean, this happened. It wasn't as bad as he said, but maybe this happened. So his story was met online, met you, and it was a time when you were experimenting with negative men. And so he said he met a couple times, met his friends, went to an apartment, had a couple of meetings in a parking lot, and that was basically it. Any of that sound familiar?
I never.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, he talked about being in your truck with your girls, like the whole 9 yards. So
All right.
I've never even been to Wyoming, let alone driven up there to see somebody.
Yeah. And so this is maybe a weird question for you. Do you have any gay experience?
No.
Okay. Any interest?
No.
Okay. Never had a time, experimented, wondered?
No.
Okay. Is it possible that he found you instead of you finding him?
From what John told me, just found me on like a WhatsApp. I
Yeah.
don't even have that app.
Okay.
Never got me. He had my phone, so you could probably saw what app I had, but I've never even heard of the app. But
Okay.
apparently, like he told me, like I met him through like a rehab center or something.
Is that what it said?
no, that was another guy. Yeah.
It was totally. No.
So did you see a picture of him on the news or anything?
John showed me a picture of him.
Okay.
He was like, this guy. And John was kind of making fun, like, you know him? Sure. I'm like, no.
So you saw it and you were like, no way. Big lips. Did you see his giant lips?
Yeah, like, I have no clue.
And he's somewhat memorable.
Yeah.
If you met him or talked to him or got to know him, you might remember. He was kind of meek.
Yeah.
But also a little bit flamboyant.
hmm
Yeah. He did fake lip, or not fake lips, but injections.
Uh-huh.
He was very into skincare and makeup. And he mentioned that one of the times, just as a gift, you got him some skincare products.
hmm
Any of that sound familiar?
No.
Okay. You can imagine all the stuff we're dealing with. Okay, so that's one.
hmm
Trent Bolts. There was another gal that you were dealing with.
Amanda McMahon. Have you ever heard that name? No.
John showed me a picture of her.
Oh, you did see a picture of her too?
Yeah. He had like. That's the same.
Does that look familiar?
That's the same picture he showed me on the in my cell phone. I was looking. I was like, "Who's that?" He's like, "Oh, you don't know her either?"
Yeah.
It's like, no.
Yeah.
He said it was like a Chick-fil-A parking lot rendezvous or something.
Right.
And that's just not
That's what she's claiming.
Okay.
Only one one Chick-fil-A in Colorado, the one in Broomfield, Highway 7.
Okay.
That was it.
Do you feel comfortable enough today to tell us if there were other people?
Yeah, it was just Nicole.
Okay, that was it. Okay. As these people have come out, for the most part, we've not given their stories much credit. They're just crazy people who want attention. And so, but when that does happen, it does make us think, there may have been others. So Nicole was the only one.
That was the only one.
Was there ever like a one night stand with someone else just out of the blue and one and done?
No.
Okay. All right. But I can talk a little bit more about Nicole. So walk me through it, because that was one of the things we never really got to ask you about.
Right. We didn't talk.
And, talked about where the girls were, but so what happened there?
So it was probably around June 1st or something. That's when I first met her. And it was just like a work conversation. She messed with the gas meters that, were out in the field. And I was messing up, and then I took it to her like, hey, what's going on with this? Like, I don't fix it. And, after that, we just ran into each other a few times in the office, and I think it was probably the fourth time meeting. She had asked me, because like when we were talking back and forth, I would say, like we moved here from Colorado or from North Carolina and stuff like that. And then she was like, what's all this weed stuff? Like, I took out my phone, showed her a picture, like, my girl's on the phone. It's like, oh, okay. Like, so, like, I didn't wear a ring at work because like I said, the officer would get me fitted when I lost all that weight. So, but
you lost so much weight that your fingers lost weight.
Yeah, it was literally like I was out in the snow one time. I went like that, ring went off from the rocks. So I was panicking trying to find out like, damn, where's anyone? But so after that, she left me alone for a couple days, and she texted me outside the field. And then after that, we just kept texting back and forth, and it was just just like she used to work in a little rig out in North Dakota, I think. And we just kind of sharing the stories back and forth about what we did and everything. And then one day it just kind of went to a different level. And then I never thought it would ever go to that level. But she was talking about meeting up after we got back from San Diego. San Diego from the 22nd to the 26th of June. And we met up after we got back. And
How did you guys meet up?
At a park in Thornton. We had Thornton somewhere. And after that, we just kept seeing each other pretty much the whole month of July.
So let me ask you this. You tell me if I'm wrong. You strike me as somewhat of a shy person. So when you guys were meeting, it was just kind of very initiatory, like flirting at first. Okay. From both sides?
Yeah. It was just kind of like feeling each other out. It was kind of like,
Yeah. And so texts, any calls?
More near the end of June.
Okay. And what makes you remember that it's June that it happened?
Because we called each other before I left to go to San Diego.
Oh, okay. Right. At first, did you think something might happen?
I just thought it was just flirting. I didn't think it was actually like something that would actually happen.
Yeah. Well, it's totally natural, right? I mean, everyone kind of flirts at work, right? Because the relationship between men and women is different. So if you're working with a girl at work, it's just kind of natural to flirt.
I wish I was out in the field more so in the office those demos, but
yeah. I kind of see it in your eyes. That's kind of where the path started.
Yeah, I mean, if I was like, because when I went from like a rover to a field coordinator, like I would spend more time in the morning time in the office trying to get everything like situated where we're going to go, and everything like that. If I was a rover, I'd be more out in the field instead of like coming to the office like for more than an hour.
Right.
It just gave me more time to run into her, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. What did she know about you? Did she know you were married first?
She did once I showed her the pictures on the phone. Yeah, I'm like, the home screen picture.
So was your wife in that picture, or was it just your girl?
It was just my girls right there, but my wife was the lock screen.
Oh.
So she knew I was married with my kids.
Okay.
Are you aware that she said she didn't know you were married?
Yeah,
what did you think about that?
It was like just trying to save face, trying to I was just trying to. Something my sister said, it was like just trying to keep things together.
Yeah.
Just trying to, she phrased it a different way, but just kind of like it's like ground control, just trying to control everything that's going on around her. I'm sure she got bombarded by all kinds of different sides from the media and everything. So
did you talk to her at all? No.
I'm hoping she hasn't written me in a different alias or something. No, I'm not talking to her that way.
Oh.
And are you not allowed to talk to her?
I would hope not.
Okay. No one told you that then?
No, I mean I would expect like I thought like in Colorado it said like on a DOC list of if you're on like a victim list you can't call anybody. But here I'm not sure if that's the same. But I just talked to my sister, parents, some friends of my parents.
Do you wish you could talk to her?
Maybe once, just to
get some closure.
Just to say like, hey, just once.
Yeah.
Say like, I'm sorry this all happened. I'm sorry. I'm not sure like what happened like afterwards, like what you went through, like if you had like counseling, if you're like, different state, if you had to leave everything behind. I just wanted to let you know I'm sorry. That's something I never saw about like happening or happening to somebody else today.
Would you be all right if we told her that?
That's fine.
Do you want us to? Do you want us not to?
And if she would want to, you guys, I'm not sure if someone contacted her. I'm sure she answered your phone call more than the attorney phone call that she didn't want to go answer. Yeah.
Oh, so your attorney tried to call her and she wouldn't answer?
Yeah, because I remember her phone number, but after that they figured out, I guess, where she lived. They left a business card there. And she just pretty much after like the 5th attempt, she said stop. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's getting bombarded like everyone else. So
Hopefully it's calmed down since, but I'm sure like I just hope she can like I'm not there's like normalcy for her, not since she's on the outside, but I'm hoping it can get that way at some point. I'm not sure if she had to leave Colorado or not, but I'm sure that would have been hard if she did.
mm-hmm.
So knowing a doctor was her dream job, so that's one thing I always like asked my attorneys is like, did she have to leave? Like, did she have to do anything at work? Because that was one thing. So she always told me that was her dream job. So,
oh really? What does she mean?
Like like in the oil company in the dark, I was like, I mean, unless you work for like BP or like or something.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And the dark, I was like,
looks like big leagues.
Yeah.
Right. Can I ask kind of a tough question? Did you love her?
I felt like it was true.
Yeah. I think so too. I think it was the same for her. Okay. Tell us about the time it's out there.
Well, I mean, it felt like it was, I think like when you say like more like a shy guy, it's kind of like I've never like been pursued by anybody before. It's kind of like I was the one, trying to pursue. Because like when me and Shanann met, it was like, she was always like pushing me away, kind of like,
She was sick for a while, right?
Oh yeah, she was she had just got diagnosed with lupus and she was on like a bunch of different medications and stuff. And it was like I guess I was one of her type. And
you weren't her type?
I wasn't her type because like she told me like when she first because we had met.
She told you that?
Yeah.
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, it was like when we first met, like was at a movie theater. My cousin's ex-wife set us up.
You were dressed like shit, weren't you?
I didn't.
That's what you told me.
Yeah, I didn't know like that.
They wouldn't have any games.
So she was fancy. She was in like shorts and tennis shoes or something, right?
I should know the doorman, was in a suit. I was just like, this isn't good.
Like when you're at the theater?
There's a fancy theater, right?
It was in Charlotte. It was called the Epicenter. Apparently, they give you like champagne and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, this is a fancy date night theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he came like he was going to a
Like I was
Cinemax,
like I was going to a
like AMC.
White theater.
No, it was like you like just watch the normal movie, but like you can like drink champagne and like have like Jack and Coke outside the theater and just sit there and whatever. But like yeah, when she first saw me, she was like, I should probably just turn and talk to the bartender a little more. No, I'm not here to meet. But yeah, like I was like persistent trying to pursue something. I liked her, and even on the first day, like I couldn't even eat anything really. I was just like,
just so nervous.
Oh yeah,
Really?
yeah. She was just like chowing down. And she was like, you eat like a bird. I'm like, that's funny. And she talked to my parents like months later. She was like, this guy just never ate. He's like, this guy eats like a trash full. This trash is full. I was like, no, not around me. I was like, well, I was nervous. I was just like, I was always like shaking and everything. But yeah, I was always pursuing her, and then just like finally I grew onto her. Like I'm always like with her medications and stuff. I would always like she had like 8 bottles of medication, so I would always get like her day and nights and kind of like put them all in that little flip open the box, all that kind of stuff. And I would always be around her. I even went to her colonoscopy. And she said after that she knew that was like kind of a keeper. And it's like who goes to a colonoscopy after 3 months with somebody? Right.
That's a little soon.
But she asked if she needed that ride. I'm like, yeah. She's like, you want to go colonoscopy with me? I'm like, sure, why not? Like even sat with her while she drank that nasty stuff all day. Yeah.
Oh. Or she's in the bathroom all day.
Yeah. like clear stuff that doesn't really taste clear. Yeah. But it was. I mean, it felt like it was a great relationship. Everything was great.
Now you're talking about with Kessinger?
No, with Tom Ocean and like the first year, my parents never. Oh no, my mom was always kind of hesitant.
What?
I was the baby, I guess. I never had a girlfriend in high school, so it's kind of like she never like really saw me like.
Oh, interesting. So she's kind of watching her baby walk out a little bit.
Yeah, because when I turned 18, I graduated. I never moved back.
Okay.
At home, so my sister moved back and forth all the time. So
how old were you when you met Shanann?
I was 25. It was 2010. So
okay.
So no serious girlfriends before that?
Nothing more than like 6 months or so. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was some girls here and there, but just nothing more than like the last girlfriend I had before Shanann, she was just actually got divorced, and I should never did that. But it was more of like I was kind of like helping her get through her divorce. It seemed like she went on somebody else. I'm like, oh, nice to know.
You're the rebound guy.
The rebound guy.
Pretty much, but I don't know how it goes.
Would you say that in your relationships with women, it seems to me, and you tell me if I'm wrong, it seems to me like you're attracted to maybe a more dominant personality?
It seemed like it because I'm more of the just reserved. I mean, I'm just kind of like go with the flow type. Yeah. And then like Shen usually made all the decisions. It seemed like so.
I get that. I'm saying, yeah, I don't know what it is.
Yeah. I don't think that's right with you, but
So then, and I know it's hard to keep bouncing back and forth, but and one of the reasons we're here is we just keep telling ourselves, Grace just does not fit the mold. Grace is not
no.
like this. It just blows us away what happened, right? And so we will do a little bit of bouncing back and forth, and that's really just to get to know you a little bit better. And we never really have that chance, did we?
Pretty much twice.
Yeah.
Met you once.
Yeah.
Probably like 3. Well, you remember 3 or 4 times probably.
So then, do you call her Nikki or Nicole?
I would call her Nikki. Okay. I know there's so many Nickis and Nicoles in this.
Right.
I got confused.
So we'll call her Nikki. So then with Nikki, was it different?
It just seemed like I was more in control, it seemed like, and that never happened. Like she'd actually like asked me like my opinion on a lot of things, was like what I wanted to do, and just kind of like, okay.
As new, wasn't it?
Very new.
It's fascinating to me. And so did it feel more like an equal partnership, or?
It seemed like it.
Yeah. Okay. So then when it was date night, would you guys talk about it? Would you ask to go somewhere? Or would she say, I want to go somewhere? Was it too fast?
The first time we went out, it was to a movie over at the Orchard, about the 144th over there. And I asked her, like, hey, you want to go see this movie? And like, she's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. And we got there, it was sold out. And, normally you probably just have, just wait 2 hours, like, just go home. But now she just wanted to walk around and just talk. I'm like, okay.
Oh, wow.
So that was different. And, I think she wanted to go to the car museum, shopping museum in Boulder. I've never been there. And
that's right up your alley. So
yeah, I was just like, that was awesome. Just to walk around cars for like an hour or so. And then, drag race in Vandermeer.
Okay.
I haven't been to a drag race since 2008. And that was in Charlotte.
Okay.
Like that was the like drag strip over there. That's like the NHRA, the Top Fuel and Fun Car stuff. Like me and my dad used to grow up.
Yeah.
Go there like all the time. And then went to camping in Sand Dunes National Park, and I'd never been camping. I always wanted to do it. Thought she'd done it like countless times.
Oh, really? Okay. She's outdoorsy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she I guess every time like she needed to clear her head, she just go by herself, just go somewhere.
Oh, yeah. But she's a completely new type of person and relationship.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What were you thinking this whole time? Like,
in the back of my head, I was just telling myself, "What are you doing?" Like, every time, I open up my phone, I can see pictures like of my wife and my kids. I'm just like, "What am I doing?" And then, like every time I was with her, it seemed like I didn't think. It seemed like it was like a blinder that was on my face.
Oh,
and it was like every time I look back on it, like like I have pictures of my wife and kids and myself, and like every night, or every morning, every night, I just talk to them, say like I have like this book. I used to read for CC, and I remember that book, so I read that to them like every night. And like there's some scripture and stuff that I read to them, so just try to think back. Like I wish this never happened. I was just like, I wish that blinder wasn't on my head, wasn't in my eyes. That would have seen what was going on. Like I was everybody said, "Oh, you're just out there having fun while your kids, or kids and wife are on vacation." I'm just like, no, it wasn't like that. But it seemed like that's what it looked like when you're going, you're going to camping, going to drag race, going all the other stuff that you have fun doing, but you're with somebody else. It's not your family. It just didn't seem right. And, with her, it just didn't seem like I could even see that anymore. I was there at her house pretty much every night. So it was like I didn't have that time at home just to really think about anything. Because literally, I didn't, I was only at home from I got home from work. I worked out, I ate dinner, and then I went over her house. I never slept in my house. Like the whole month of July.
Now, talking through that though, when you said you went home and then you were at her house, was that while Chanel was gone? Oh, okay. So you weren't even at your house.
No.
This all happened so quickly, didn't it?
It was insane quickly. Like I didn't she even told me she would never like a normal relationship. She would never have somebody over her house more than once or twice a week. But she felt like she wanted me over there.
Yeah.
Just that she felt comfortable over there. Yeah. So it's that's what was different. Like she wanted me over there. But I just wish that all that would just go away. I just wish I almost I know it's hard I know it's wrong to say I wish I'd never met somebody, but I wish I'd, maybe met her at work and then just kept it that way.
I think if we had a time machine, I don't think this would happen again. Because some people, when this happens, you're like, well, if it wasn't this time, it would have been next time, or it would have been the next time. It's just wouldn't have happened with you, would it? And it happened so quickly that you tell me if I'm wrong. You're not the type of guy to take control sometimes when you need to. Yeah, it seems like that's just what happened.
Yeah, I didn't take control of the situation. It was like the situation controlling me.
Right, it just happened. No, I get that, man. I'm somewhat passive myself, and it's like, there's situations where I'm like, well, why did I let that keep going? No.
Yeah, I don't know why. It was like a roller coaster ride that I just kept punching the ticket on and just never picked it up. Yeah.
We talk about the hardest subject. So when we were talking, the last time we talked, the last thing we talked about was where the girls were.
Mm-hmm.
We never really got to talk about that night. What happened?
So nothing really happened that night. It was in the morning. And it was, me and Jeanette, she got home like at 2:00. And
Okay, you guys, I think I'm going to stop it here. It's a good place.